Good day. This is Brother Medina for Tuesday, Seventh-day Adventist. And please let us start with a word of prayer. Loving Father, please be with us and bless us as we enter into this presentation. Help everyone to understand and to see the lateness of time and prepare for the second coming of Jesus. These mercies we ask of you through the truths of Jesus Christ, the plan of salvation. Amen. Well, we are continuing our personal talk, and we have now reached personal talk 11. There are so much things that we had to show you and had to see. We have now reached personal talk 11. And we are showing you that changes are taking place in the world, and those changes that are taking place in the world are led by the United States of America, because according to Revelation chapter 13, which tells us that I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, that is verse 11, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This scripture points to the United States of America, and when we look at who the dragon is, in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9, we are told, and the dragon is that ancient serpent called the devil and Satan. And so we have the United States of America will speak like the devil. And whenever the devil speaks, how does he speak? Matthew chapter 4 tells us that it is always an attack against your rights and your freedoms. We have the devil attacking Jesus by tempting him, and he sought to take away Jesus' private property rights by telling him change the stones into bread. He sought to take away Jesus' right to life by putting him on top of a temple and telling him to jump. And also by showing him the kingdoms of this world and asking him to bow down and worship him, which is attacking Jesus' religious liberty right. So whenever a power speaks like the devil, they in fact seek to take away your rights and freedoms. Yes, my dear people. And this is exactly what it means to speak like a dragon. And here we are told that this power, the United States, will speak like a dragon. And verse 12 of Revelation 13 tells us, and he caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Did you see that? We are told that he caused the earth. So America is going to influence the world in its transgressions. And this is what we see going on right now. When you look at the change in culture around you, you will see it is a change after the United States of America. In other words, we have the United States influencing the nations of the world. Take, for instance, here is a boy in your environment, and he's walking with his pants partly down, so much that he's revealing almost half of his underwear. Where did you think that culture came from? Jamaica? No. It actually came from the United States of America. So they are the ones that are changing the culture and leading the world down the slippery slope of destruction. Yes, my dear people. But what we have been doing, we have been giving you documentary evidence as to what has been going on in the United States in different government ministries and organizations that have been pushing the world down the path of destruction. And we have in our hands here another document. I will quote the headline of this document for you. Here is what it tells us. I quote, DOJ, Department of Justice, that's in the United States. Here is their statement. It says, children do not need and have no right to mothers. Did you hear that crazy statement? The Department of Justice in the United States is saying that children do not need and have no right to mothers. Let me read what this tells you here. I quote, the Obama Justice Department is arguing in the United States Supreme Court that children do not need mothers. The Justice Department's argument on the superfluity of motherhood is presented in a brief the Obama administration filed in the case of Hollingsworth versus Perry, which challenges the constitutionality of Proposition 8, the California ballot initiative that amended California's constitution to say that marriage involves one man and one woman. End of quote. Did you see that? So, California their people voted on a proposition called Proposition 8, and it has been made part of the California Constitution. So the Obama's Department of Justice have taken up against this Proposition 8. Proposition 8 states that marriage involves only one man and one woman. So that's the law in California. However, Mr. Obama is taking this state law to court, the federal court, the Supreme Court, and they are arguing that, as we just quoted here, children do not need and have no right to mothers. Is that what the Obama administration is going to argue for? The president is married to a woman and his children have a mother and a father. Now you want to deny other people the God-given right of having mothers and fathers just to justify sodomy? This is what they are doing, and this is what this whole thing is all about. Let me continue. The Justice Department presented its conclusions about parenthood in rebutting an argument made by proponents of Proposition 8 that the traditional two-parent family, led by both a mother and a father, was the ideal place determined even by nature itself to raise a child. Now, this is what the proponents of Proposition 8 were saying, and this is what the Obama's Department of Justice was fighting against. They were fighting against the fact that nature shows that it takes a father and a mother to raise a child. I continue. The Obama administration argues this is not true. It argues that children need neither a father nor a mother, and that having two fathers or two mothers is just as good as having one of each. End of quote. Did you hear that? And this is what the Obama administration, through the Department of Justice, is arguing to get rid of Proposition 8. Why don't you just leave the people's law alone and leave it as it is there? Why is this sudden agenda to push sodomy and to make sodomy become a part of the United States culture? And then from the United States, all the other countries in the world will follow. So here we have they're telling us that a child doesn't have a right to a father or right to a mother. They can have two fathers and two mothers. You see? And they are using all kind of dirty tactics or false reasonings to fight this thing. But we quoted this to let you know how far things has gone. Let me quote this again. The brief that the Justice Department presented to the Supreme Court, that's Obama's Justice Department, discussed children only as items controlled by others, not as individual human beings who have God-given rights of their own. It simply assumes that a child has no inherent right to a mother or father, and that the only right truly in question is whether two people of the same sex have a right to marry one another, and that right encompasses a right to adopt and foster raise children. End of quote. Did you see that? So this is what the Justice Department is arguing as they seek to do away with the traditional family. Now, isn't this horrible? Of course it is horrible. But all this in the name to push sodomy, and all of a sudden, only sodomites have rights. While they claim they're looking for equal rights, only sodomites now have rights. And the people who are not sodomites, they now have no rights. And if you hear the nonsense these government officials are saying to justify sex the wrong way, and a man behaving like a woman and a woman behaving like a man, literally confusing the gender issues, it is a part of the New World Order that you have to destroy Christianity to take over, to bring about the New World Order. That's a part of their teachings. If you go back way back to 1776 with the founding of the Illuminati with Adam Weishaupt, funded by Amschel Rothschild, and the continuation of the Illuminati through different organizations and multiplications of organizations, you would see there's one consistent thread in all of them down till today. Destroy Christianity and you will be able to create a new world order. That's the point. And currently they're using sodomy as the spearhead to destroy Christianity by destroying traditional teachings fostered by Christianity in society that has caused society to survive how it has been surviving for more than 1,000 years. And as they are doing that now, they are coming with some real erroneous, silly arguments. And the shocking thing is that other people are buying it. Why? Because many of those people in offices are in the same conspiracy. You say, you mean all those people are in the same conspiracy? Of course. It has happened in the past. Why it can't happen now? So much that if anyone were to study what Freemason teaches, what Freemasonry teaches, in his book, Albert Pike's book, a very large book, he explains the different planks of Freemasonry. And the basic Freemasonry is the 33-degree Freemasonry. Each degree is a plank, and each plank are certain teachings that you're supposed to teach the people. Now, what they have done, they have taken the planks of Freemasonry and they are teaching it outward to the public, in public policy, in education. One of the planks of Freemasonry is making sodomy become a part of mainstream society. And it is this plank from Freemasonry that they are following. Because Freemasonry, after 1778, has been captured by the Illuminism. And the lodges have been Illuminized with the philosophy of Illuminism. And the philosophy of Illuminism, which can be traced to the Babylonian Talmud, which itself was written by Jews in Babylon, these teachings call for the destruction of Gentile society and bringing about a socialist world order. Is it not a shocking thing that Karl Marx and Engels and all of these communists were Freemasons? Yes, my dear people. And is it not a surprise that it was the Illuminati that paid Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels to write the Communist Manifesto? At that time, they were in an organization called the League of the Just, and that organization was changed into communists. So what we have here is a grand global communist conspiracy to bring about a new world order. Remember some of Lenin's very last terms. His terms is that the state will wither away and all will become one. So what we have is global socialism being pushed, and part of it, to take over, you have to destroy Christianity. And one of the spearheads to destroy Christianity that is being used is sodomy. That's why you are having these things here. Look at, I have in my hand here another document. And this document again is from the Department of Justice. Let me read the headline for you. Here is what it tells us, I quote. Justice Department says use of husband and wife is considered hate speech. Wow, did you get that? Use of husband and wife is considered hate speech. I quote, given the Department of Justice's current track record, the IRS scandal, Fast and Furious, subpoena in the press, and other law-bending activities, it is not surprising that it would reach inside its own organization and blatantly overstep the First Amendment rights of employees. One of the Department of Justice's latest directives tells managers how they need to handle lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender employees, LGBT. Silence will be interpreted as disapproval, according to the Department of Justice Pride Office. So in other words, if you keep silent, you're not saying anything. They will say that that means you disapprove. So now, if you say something, they're making it against the law. If you say nothing, that is against the law. Did you see the kind of tyranny that is coming about in the Department of Justice? And if the Department of Justice is corrupted that way, what justice can they meter out to the population of millions of people in the United States? And what influence could that bring to the world? Yes, my dear people, I continue. It says this: according to the inclusion document, the government can limit your freedom of speech, expression, and your thoughts. Did you hear that? An ordinary man who is in a position now thinks he has control over what you are supposed to think and what you are supposed to say in the name of an office. It continues. Here are some pieces. And I am quoting from the document the Department of Justice is using to tell people what they must say and what they must not say to deal with LGBT people. I quote, here are some pieces. Make the right assumptions, avoid making the wrong ones. Do not assume that LGBT employees and their allies are listening to what you are saying and will read what you are writing, and make sure the language you use is inclusive and respectful. Don't assume all employees are heterosexual. Now, why they don't tell the LGBT people to think about Christianity in a way to be respectful and to remember that they too are members of society and they are the ones that is responsible for law and order by teaching the truth, and have respect for them, respect husband and wife. Why don't they say that? You see, anytime a law is not a genuine law, when it is not based upon genuine rights, it breaks the clause, the principal clause of equality for all. It always makes some more equal than others. And that's the hallmark of communism. Some has always been made more equal than others. Now I continue. 2, use inclusive language. Do use inclusive words like partner, significant other, or spouse, rather than gender-specific terms like husband and wife. Did you hear that? So they're telling you can say partner, you can say significant other, you can say spouse, but don't say husband and wife. Why? Because husband means the male gender and wife means the female gender. And they're trying to precondition the people's psyche to accept sodomy in the Department of Justice. And as a result of that, they now will spread their false teachings and infidelity and heresies broadcast in the country, and then we in Trinidad and Tobago will drink of the same corrupted stream and also get corrupted. Did you see that? It says, do communicate a zero tolerance policy for inappropriate jokes and comments, including those pertaining to a person's sexual orientation and gender identity or expression. Acknowledge and engage with LGBT employees. 5, come out. Meaning say something, come out, join them. They are actually forcing people to join them. They are forcing people to come out and show that you agree with what they're doing. That's what they're doing here. So instead of telling you, well, you have your judgment, they have their judgment, you have your beliefs, they have their beliefs, let everybody just remember that exchange of ideas is good and nothing is wrong with it, but each have their beliefs. What they're doing here is telling the Christians do not, and people who believe in straight relations, in good relations, do not say husband, do not say wife. If you say husband, it's a hate speech. If you say wife, it's a hate speech. That's what they're telling people now. These are the kind of horrible things that have been going on, my dear people, and we have been trying to show you this. Because what has been happening here is that changes are taking place in the world. And these changes, you see, let me tell you this. The average Trinidadian, watch football, watch cricket, go to party, drink, watch a movie, go and play, do this, do that, but do not be interested in these important things. Oh, that have nothing to do with us. Everybody generally sits on their lees while the destruction is taking place around them. They're not looking at it and they're not recognizing that trouble is coming. So what are we doing? We here of Tuesday Seventh-day Adventists are warning you. We are letting you know the facts as they are. We are showing you what is taking place and telling you to prepare for the end which is swiftly coming. Because these are the kind of heresies that they are pushing. They've banned preaching in the military. You can't preach in the military. A lot of other wrong things are going on all over the world. The latest that we have gotten is that if you have a home Bible study, you can be jailed. Because Bible study belongs to a designated church building and you cannot have it with your friends and neighbors in your own home. That's the latest thing in the United States. In fact, A man, the husband of a home, has been jailed for 60 days in the United States for having a home Bible study. Now notice, we are not talking about jailing somebody who have stolen something or who injured somebody or who have some kind of crime. We are being told that a person is not supposed to have study in your home, privately, with friends, with neighbors, with families. Because if you do it, you have to get a permit to do it, and it's against the law. Now, these officials are smart, because if you go to get the permit, they will say, well, your house is not a designated church building, so we do not give you the permit. But who in heaven's name tell them they have to even get a permit for you to be able to have a Bible study in your house? And this man did it, they find him, he did it again, now they're going to jail him. 60 days in jail for just having a Bible study home with friends and families. Could you imagine that? This is how terrible things have gotten in that country now. And this horrible monstrosity is now spreading all over the world. Now you say, what does this mean to me? It means quite a lot to you, because it means that you are living in the last days. And trouble is coming. And you are seeing foreshadows of coming events. When you are forced to worship the beast and his image, when you are forced to accept the mark of the beast, do you know what they will tell you? If you have a Bible study home to show what is the mark of the beast, and show what is the beast and his image, and to show what's wrong with it, they can always tell you that belongs to a church building. And if you are showing that the state is taking away your rights and freedoms, and this is a husband, this is a wife, eventually you will be jailed for saying husband and wife, or fined for just saying husband and wife. And if the state can now judge your speech and therefore judge your thoughts, then they could control your speech and your thoughts when it comes to issues dealing with the mark of the beast. So we are all heading there. That's where we are heading. But remember, recently a Mr. Snowden, 22-year-old employee of the National Security Agency, has revealed how they have been listening to people's conversation on telephones all over the world. In Russia, in Britain. In other words, they listen to telephone calls and also track you on the internet all over the world. And do you know what senators are calling this guy who revealed this illegal thing the NSA was doing? They are calling him a betrayer of the country, a terrorist. Do you know what some of those American senators have to warn? That any day now, the government of America can send a drone and kill that man who is hiding out in Hong Kong. Do you see what's going on here? They are literally making it their business to destroy all vestiges of freedom of speech in the name of national security. Any falsehood, any transgression of your rights and freedoms are now hidden under the guise of national security, dealing with terrorism. And now they are preparing. Let me tell you this. I have accounts of a list with over 3 million people's names on it for the government to capture and put in concentration camps when they're ready. The concentration camps are already built in America. They are already manned by staff. 1 or 2 of them are being used partially as a prison. The rest are empty. One in Fairbanks, Alaska, can hold more than 3 million people. And they already have lists of millions of people to capture, to send into these camps whenever it is necessary for them to do it. This is how far this country has gone. It is truly beginning to speak like a dragon, but it's going to get worse. And we have shown you these things. We have let you know these facts that are going on, that you would prepare yourself for the end which is swiftly coming. So we ask of you to pay careful attention to these things. You can call us at these numbers, 625-0446, 625-0446. We will take anything you ask for with regards to this series of studies that we have done. But when we finish, we're going to send it out for you. Just give your name and address, and we will send it out for you. And in the meantime, may God bless you until we meet again in Jesus' holy name.